Um, my father was having an affair with her while he was married to my mother. My mother was pregnant with my sister. And my father was having an affair. And, when my mother found out, she kicked him out of the house. Okay? He ended up marrying that woman. And through the years, when I met with my father, she was kind of cold to me. And we had a couple of, of things that she didn't want anybody to get close to my father. Not only me, my sister, even my father's mother. She made sure that she wanted to keep my father for herself, and they ended up moving out to Vegas, and they adopted a baby girl. And I don't, know, but I'm sure she had something to do. But I look at it this way, Bob. He's still my father, and even if she hated our guts, and she said to my father, I don't want you talking to your kids. We have a new family now. Let's get on with our lives. My father could have been man enough to say, listen, Patty, these are my kids. And, we have our life together, but I can't forget my kids. They're my blood. And that's not what he did. So if it was her encouragement, or if it was something my father premeditated or was going to do when he left, when he, was out of our house and left our home, that's where it stands. I'll never know that answer. But it takes two to tango, and I'm sure she wasn't encouraging him to call me up and all that stuff, because he never really gave me any kind of a call unless it was to complain about a bill or something that he received from a doctor. I'm lucky I got his phone number. When I called his house out in Las Vegas and she picked up the phone, she always screened the calls. So I had difficulty with that. And then when I meet my father, he said I was disrespectful to her. So I had that to deal with. It was hell. It was hell.
Now, what happened to his second wife?
She passed away.
Now,
I think she passed away about 5 years ago.
I beg your pardon?
She passed away about 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago. Did you not want to come out with his book while she was living?
Oh, it had nothing to do with her. She had no bearing on it. Nothing to do with her. It was all about my grandmother and my family. That's why I'm coming out with the book now. And it's also a letter to my father. I needed to live a while. I needed to be, I'm 52 years old, so I needed to be around a while so I can write a story and write all the experiences I had with my father and with my grandmother and all that. I mean, my grandmother encouraged a relationship with my father. She spoke very highly. There's a wonderful video of me interviewing my grandmother on my website, dearpatcooper.com. You could also purchase the book there. It's got the Amazon link. My book is on Amazon.com. And there's a wonderful video that I did with my grandmother interviewing her about my father from 1986. And, my father didn't want anything to do with his own mother. In fact, the last thing he said to me 13 years ago when I saw him in the street, I accidentally ran into him on Fifth Avenue. The last words he said to me was, and when she dies, don't any of yous call me. He was referring to his mother. And I just felt like, I don't know if I wanted to lunge at him. I don't know if I wanted to melt into the cement. I didn't know what to do. I was actually on my way to my grandmother because she was dying. I was actually on the way to go visit her. And I don't know. So,
have you heard from your father?
I haven't heard directly from my father. I don't really feel that he would contact me, but I heard from his camp. I've heard from his son-in-law, okay, who controls my father's Facebook page and my father's MySpace page. He won't even let me on there as a friend. He won't let me on there as a fan. He threatened me about going to a lawyer that everything in the book better be true, and not about his family, like I'm not part of the family, and that he would sue.
Now, who said that?
His son-in-law, Rob, the one that married his adopted daughter.
I see, the son.
So I got some of the threatening emails like that and stuff, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And he also posted something on my father's Facebook page. He posted a picture of my grandmother on my father's Facebook page and said derogatory things about her on the Facebook page, which was a disgrace. And I can't believe that my father would allow something like that.
But he obviously did, otherwise he would put a stop to it, wouldn't he?
Exactly. I mean, I know my father's not computer savvy. I mean, it's obvious. But I know he's paying this guy, I know he's paying his son-in-law to control all his promotion and everything on Facebook and MySpace, because that's the way to go today with promoting anything or where he's going to be performing. They put all that stuff on there.
All right, why don't you stay right where you are, Michael Caputo, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us. Very frank, very candid gentleman on the line. He is the son of Pat Cooper, whose real name was Caputo. This is Michael Caputo. We're going to get right back to you, Michael. Stay right where you are, straight ahead.
It's the Bob Grant Show, part of your New York weekend on 77 WABC. 77 WABC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to Michael Caputo, son of Pat Cooper, who authors a book. It's an open letter to his father entitled Dear Pat Cooper. As we're talking now, we just had a pause for commercial. What were your thoughts? Were you thinking that maybe this is a little too uncomfortable, that maybe you wish you hadn't done it?
No, I have no regrets, Bob. I have no regrets. It's best by putting my life down on paper. I realized, it was cathartic for sure. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But by putting my life down and going through periods of time when I was with my father, when I wasn't with my father, when I was trying to be with my father, and I realized that I got a lot of love from my grandmother, my mom, and everybody else in the family. That love filled in the gap that was missing, the love that I never got from my dad. And I consider myself quite fortunate. Even though most of my life growing up, going through all these changes, I felt like, oh, why me? Why does he not want to have anything to do with me or my sister? And it was like, but now that I've come to this far, I realize, I forgive my father. My grandmother told me that I would have to forgive my father. She did before she passed away, and I forgive him.